Hey guys, so I thought in time for Valentine's Day, I would do a top 10 list for date night horror movies. Now, I should say that these are like anti-romance type movies. I generally am not the kind of person who loves a romantic movie, and I feel like in horror, that's a great genre to discover, like romantic movies, because typically it does not end well for the couple. So this list is great for my single people as well. This is single person safe. I am not single myself, but this is the kind of way that I like to celebrate Valentine's Day, because I am not a person who likes to celebrate it that much. Maybe this list will make you grateful that you're not actually in a relationship. I don't know. You know, these are horror movies that feature relationships, but not necessarily good ones. You know, little unhealthy, toxic relationships for ya. So before we get into the video, I just want to thank Truebill for sponsoring today's video. Truebill is an all-in-one personal finance app that groups all of your accounts together so you can track your earning and spending. It's a great resource to create personalized budgets. I've been using Truebill for months now, and one of my favorite features on the app is showing all of my subscriptions together in one place so I know exactly which ones I have. They make it really easy to cancel your subscriptions right on the app and let you know exactly when those payments are coming out. Also, Truebill allows me to track payments from brands and know exactly when I should expect a payment from them. Also, Truebill makes it really easy to track your credit score, which has actually gone up significantly ever since I started using Truebill, including my savings account. Just my finances have never been in better shape since I've become more aware of them using Truebill. Another amazing feature that they have on there is they will actually negotiate lower bills for you. All you have to do is upload a picture of your bill and they will reach out to the company and try to get you a lower payment on that bill for like your internet provider or insurance or anything like that. They also let you know based on your past history with those payments if they are able to lower it and how much they can lower it. So definitely try Truebill for yourself. You can download it for free if you go to truebill.com/possessed or click the link in my description down below. Okay, let's get started with my top 10 date night horror movies. This will apply beyond Valentine's Day, of course. If you have a date coming up or you just want to watch something with your significant other, I think these are fantastic because it's a little contrarian, you know, to typical romance. First up, we have the most obvious choice for this list, and that is My Bloody Valentine. Now, this is the 2009 remake. I have not seen the original, and while this is a cheesy pick, it's arguably the most famous Valentine's Day movie, horror movie. Maybe next to Valentine. That's another famous one that I've actually never seen, so Valentine is going to be the one that I'm personally going to be watching on Valentine's Day. So My Bloody Valentine follows Tom, who returns to his hometown after 10 years on the anniversary of the Valentine's Night Massacre. However, he becomes the main suspect of committing these murders. I actually have regrets not seeing this in theaters initially because I thought it looked terrible. It was, you know, in 3D, of course. It was in that era of like the 2010 era where everything was in 3D for some reason, and I just never went to see it because it just did not look like my kind of movie. And while it's not a fantastic movie, I did buy it on DVD and I now enjoy it for what it is. I think it's just a perfect amount of campiness and cheesiness. It just has so much charm for the era of this horror movie of when it came out, and I can't resist a rewatch of it. It's really good in a really bad way. Like, it's cheesy. But you know, you've seen it by now. Up next, we have You're Next. Attempting to mend their broken family ties, the Davisons invite their 4 children and their significant others over to celebrate their wedding anniversary when the family becomes a target by masked killers. This features multiple couples, of course. I think this is a great who do you trust kind of movie, very similar to many movies on this list that you'll recognize. But You're Next deserves the hype for so many reasons. I just think it's so well executed, very unexpected, and the comedy is actually really, really good and not too over the top. And I just think it would make the perfect date night horror movie. Very similar to this next one on the list, which is Ready or Not. Grace marries the man of her dreams. However, on her wedding night, his family has a strange tradition of playing a game. Grace finds herself fighting for survival until the day breaks when being hunted by her new in-laws. This is another great movie where the person gets a little more than they signed up for while dating their partner. This one, of course, Grace discovers after they've already been married, so it adds to the tension a little bit. I feel like my necklaces are making a little jingle jangle noise, sorry. I think this one's great for date night, or just, you know, to watch by yourself, to make you very grateful that you're not married, that you didn't marry into a family like this, because it's not that scary, but there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of tension in it. Again, the comedy is great. It's just a wild, fun ride. And honestly, I think it's the perfect Valentine's Day horror movie. We're just gonna get all the little family situations out of the way. So the next movie I want to talk about is Get Out. Rose invites her new boyfriend Chris over to her parents for a weekend getaway to meet them. Chris shrugs off their strange behavior as an awkward way to deal with their interracial relationship, but as the weekend progresses, the strangeness just escalates in a disturbing discovery. We're just going over all the questionable families / partners and then they soon slowly discover who they actually are type movies, because those all fit for the holiday. Get Out, of course, is famously known as probably the most popular movie done by Jordan Peele. It's my favorite one that he's done, although I am excited for his new one. But this is a movie that I wish I could experience for the first time again. It's one of those where I want to watch it for the first time and experience all the twists and turns, and I just love the direction that this movie takes. And yes, it's very metaphorical. It's a Jordan Peele movie. That's what you're going to get, but it's really fun to kind of sit with your partner and try to pick out all the clues that you see throughout. But again, maybe makes you feel good that you're not in that situation, you know? Similarly with this next one, of course, I had to put it on a Valentine's or date night horror movie list, MIDSOMMAR. Couple Danny and Christian traveled to Sweden with some friends to watch its Midsummer Festival, which begins as an idyllic trip but soon turns into a violent and bizarre event by the pagan cult. Midsummer is one of those dysfunctional relationships that really makes me want to scream at the screen at both parties. Just, what are you doing? What are you doing? Again, makes you feel a little bit better about your situation maybe, because this is like the most realistic example of not a toxic, but just dysfunctional and not meant to be together. Like very not compatible for each other. But again, this is another famous coupley type movie that follows their relationship, and you know, as their relationship is crumbling while they navigate a pagan cult. If your partner has yet to see Midsommar, I think it's a great one to pop on with them. Okay, next up we have The Invisible Man. Cecilia believes that her ex-boyfriend staged his own suicide with hopes in terrorizing her, and when no one believes her, she decides to fight back on her own. Do you have a toxic ex? So does Cecilia. This is a great sci-fi portrayal of a toxic ex. Like, this is probably the worst situation you could be in because it's sci-fi. These types of movies give me so much anxiety watching them because you're seeing them go through horrific things and no one believes them. Like another one that makes you want to scream at the TV. It just creates so much tension. Sometimes it's too much to take. But obviously it's a great, great movie and a great portrayal of a very, very toxic relationship. Next up, we have Gerald's Game. Couple Jesse and Gerald try to spice up their marriage with a romantic getaway to a remote lake house when things quickly take a turn, leaving Jesse handcuffed to the bed with no sign of rescue. Again, another nightmare situation to be in with your partner. Probably one of the worst situations, but I love that this movie is less so about their relationship, more so about Jesse and her life and her experiences. And I absolutely love the visual effects in this. The horror elements are great. I think it's an amazing Stephen King adaptation and definitely a great relationship type date night horror movie. Next up, we have Honeymoon. Bea and Paul go on their honeymoon at a remote cabin, but when Bea wanders off into the woods alone, she returns looking the same, but something about her is not quite right. I think this is the most underrated on this list and in anti-romance type horror movies in general. I love mentioning Honeymoon whenever I get a chance to because it's just one of my favorites of this type of genre. It's like a sci-fi romance turned very horrific. It does star Rose Leslie, who is amazing, and I love seeing her in this kind of role. I just think that this movie is a really unique take on this type of movie. I don't want to give too much away, but it's just such a romantic movie. So definitely watch it. Next up, we have The Gift. A married couple unexpectedly run into an old acquaintance. However, he doesn't leave them alone and repeatedly stops by unannounced and leaving strange gifts for the couple. This is the most uncomfortable movie on this list, and this one maybe watch not with a new partner. It's a lot. It's very emotional, very psychological. It goes to very, very dark places. So this isn't one of those like fun ones you put on to feel a little bit better about yourself and your situation on, you know, a romantic holiday like Valentine's Day or, you know, on a date night. This isn't one of those. But again, this is another movie that I would really love to experience for the first time again. It's not super focused on the relationship itself. It's not really like a stalking toxic ex or anything like that, but it's still a very disturbing type of romantic movie, if you want to call it that. It's very layered, so definitely watch it if you haven't yet. So the last movie I want to talk about is the most romantic movie on on this list, and you definitely have to watch it with your significant other or a new partner, maybe a new date, if you will. Tusk. A podcaster ventures to Canada looking for a good story when he comes across an old man with an extraordinary past and soon learns about his dark secret. If you didn't catch my sarcasm there, maybe don't show this to a new partner, but this is such a fun one to watch with someone. Definitely, especially if you've both never seen it. It is a little bit less relationship focused, but there is that layer of relationship going on. But if you want to make your Valentine feel a little bit uncomfortable, I think you should go with Tusk. Some will hate Tusk, some will think it's too over the top to be taken seriously. I personally love this movie. I want to know what group you're in. So I know this list is top 10 date night horror movies, but I wanted to give a couple honorable mentions at the end. And the only reason they're not in the list is, one, I wanted it to be a rounded number at 10. And two, I've recently talked about all three of these movies, so I didn't want to be so repetitive on my channel. But of course, Scream, I feel like that's an obvious choice for Valentine's Day, or like, you know, a date night type horror movie. And then we have The Night House. Again, this one is a woman discovering things about her deceased husband, so it's very relationship focused. The whole thing is basically her discovering his secrets, so another great one. And then one of my favorite movies to watch on Valentine's Day or on a date night or something, The Loved Ones. But like I mentioned, I talked about it recently. I will link the videos that I talk about them in the cards over here, so you could check them out a little bit more in depth, but definitely watch those three as well if the other 10 weren't doing it for you. I would love to hear your favorite date night horror movies or Valentine's Day horror movies, anything that you like to watch with a partner, significant other, or alone by yourself to make you feel better about your current situation. I would love to know your recommendations. I do need more movies to watch around the holiday. I personally don't celebrate it, so how I celebrate, I'll be watching Valentine's Day horror movies. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.